The alarm bells screamed through the monitoring station like angry metal birds. Ji-ho jumped from his chair so fast that his coffee cup fell to the floor. The hot liquid spread across the clean white tiles, but he did not care. His eyes were locked on the screen in front of him. "This cannot be right," he said to himself. His hands moved quickly over the control panel, checking each reading 3 times. The numbers did not change. Something was out there in the Nexus sector. Something big. The Nexus sector was the most dangerous place in known space. 3 different alien empires watched it like hungry wolves. No one was allowed to go there. No one was supposed to be there. But the sensors said otherwise. "Hei-wan," Ji-ho called across the room. "Come look at this." Dr. Hei-wan was studying plant samples from a distant world. She had been working for 6 hours straight without a break. Her back hurt and her eyes were tired. When she heard Ji-ho shout, she almost ignored him. But something in his voice made her look up. "What is it now?" she asked. Ji-ho was always excited about something. "Last week it was a strange radio signal that turned out to be a broken weather satellite. Look at Sector 77 Alpha," Ji-ho said. His finger pointed at the main display screen. "Tell me what you see." Hei-wan walked over and looked at the screen. Her tired eyes widened. The sensor data showed a large object sitting in empty space. But that was not the strange part. The strange part was what the computer said the object was. "The system says it is a human ship," she said slowly. "That is impossible." "I know it is impossible," Ji-ho replied. "But look at the readings. Look at the metal composition. Look at the energy patterns. Everything matches the old human ship. Designs from 300 years ago." Hei-wan shook her head. "Humans are extinct. Everyone knows this. They all died in the Voidstorm Wars. Their planet was destroyed. There are no more humans." Ji-ho ran the scan again. The results were the same. "The computer does not lie," he said. "It says human ship, ancient design, very old but still working." The 2 scientists stared at the screen in silence. Around them, the monitoring station continued its normal work. Other people watched other sectors of space. They did not know that something impossible had just appeared in the most restricted zone in the galaxy. "We need to tell Captain Dongmin," Hei-wan said finally. Captain Dongmin was eating his dinner when the call came in. He was a careful man who liked quiet evenings and simple food. His ship, the patrol cruiser Starfall, was docked at the monitoring station for routine maintenance. He had planned to spend the evening reading reports and drinking tea. "Captain," came Ji-ho's voice through the communication system, "we need you in the sensor room. Right now." Dongmin put down his chopsticks. "What is the problem?" "You need to see this yourself, sir. We cannot explain it over the comm." 5 minutes later, Dongmin stood in the sensor room looking at the impossible readings. He was a man who had seen many strange things in space. He had fought pirates and explored dead worlds. He had seen alien creatures that looked like living crystals and planets made entirely of metal, but he had never seen anything like this. "Run a full diagnostic on all sensor systems," he ordered. "Already done, sir," Ji-ho replied. 3 times. All systems are working perfectly." "Then run it again." They ran the diagnostic 4 more times. Every test showed the same thing. The sensors were working correctly. There really was a ship in the Nexus sector, and according to every test they could run, it was human. Dongmin contacted his superiors at Fleet Command. Admiral Youngsik answered the call himself. The admiral was an old man with gray hair and tired eyes. He had lived through 2 wars and 3 border conflicts. Nothing surprised him anymore. "Report," the admiral said simply. "Sir, we have detected an unknown vessel in the Nexus sector. The ship appears to be of human origin." There was a long silence. Then Admiral Youngsik laughed. It was not a happy laugh. "Human origin? Captain, are you feeling well? Perhaps you need medical attention." "Sir, I am perfectly healthy. The sensor data is clear. The ship matches human design patterns from before, the Voidstorm Wars. Captain Dongmin, humans have been extinct for 300 years. What you are seeing is either a sensor malfunction or an enemy trick. I want you to investigate immediately." "Sir, the Nexus sector is restricted space. If I take my ship there, it could start a war." "Captain, if there really is a ship in the Nexus sector, a war has already started. Someone put it there. I want to know who and why." The communication ended. Dongmin stood alone in his cabin, looking out at the stars. Somewhere out there in the darkness was a ship that should not exist. A ship from a dead race in a place where no one was allowed to go. Meanwhile, in the sensor room, Haiwan was running more tests. She was a scientist, and scientists did not believe in impossible things. There had to be an explanation. What if it is not really a human ship? She asked Ji-ho. What if someone built a ship to look like a human ship? Why would anyone do that? Ji-ho replied. To start trouble. To make the three empires fight each other. If everyone thinks humans are back, it could cause panic. Ji-ho nodded slowly. That makes sense. But look at these readings. He pointed to a section of data on his screen. The metal is old, very old. This ship has been in space for a long time, decades, maybe centuries. Then it is a very good fake, Haiwan said, but even as she spoke, she was not sure. The data was too detailed to be fake. The wear patterns on the hull were too real. The energy signature was too unique. If this was a trick, it was the best trick anyone had ever made. Hours passed. More people came to look at the readings. Everyone had a different theory. Some said it was a trap. Others said it was a ghost ship drifting in space. A few brave souls whispered that maybe, just maybe, some humans had survived after all. Captain Dongmin prepared his ship for departure. The Starfall was a good ship with a good crew, but it was built for patrol duty, not for first contact with impossible visitors. If the ship in the Nexus sector was real, if it really was human, then everything the galaxy believed about the past was wrong. As the Starfall undocked from the monitoring station, Ji-ho watched it go on his sensors. The small patrol cruiser looked very lonely as it headed toward the restricted zone. Behind it, the monitoring station continued its quiet work, but nothing would ever be quiet again. The impossible ship waited in the darkness between the stars. It had been waiting for a long time. Soon, very soon, the waiting would be over. The emergency meeting room was filled with angry voices. Ambassador Kyung-soo slammed his fist on the metal table so hard that the water glasses jumped. His face was red with rage. "This is clearly a Zephyrian trick," he shouted. "They want to destabilize our alliance. They put that fake ship there to make us fight each other." Admiral Young-sik shook his head. "The Zephyrians are not that clever. This has to be an Altarian false flag operation. They want to draw our fleets into the Nexus sector so they can attack our home worlds." "You are both wrong," said General In-soo. His voice was calm but cold. "It does not matter who put the ship there. What matters is that it threatens the peace. We should destroy it immediately." Around the table sat the most powerful people in 3 different space empires. They had spent years building a careful peace after the last war. Now, one impossible ship threatened to destroy everything they had worked for. Dr. Sunmi sat quietly in the corner, reading through old files on her tablet. She was not a politician or a military officer. She was a historian who studied dead civilizations. Someone had decided her knowledge might be useful. "Dr. Sunmi," said Counselor Boram, "what do you think about this ship?" Sunmi looked up from her tablet. She was a small woman with kind eyes and gray hair. She had spent her whole life studying the past, not the present. "I have been looking at the sensor data," she said slowly. "The ship design matches human blueprints from 300 years ago. But there are differences, small changes that suggest the ship has been modified many times." "So it is a fake," Ambassador Kyung-soo said quickly. "Not necessarily," Sunmi replied. "If humans really did build this ship long ago, they would have needed to repair it many times. They would have used whatever materials they could find. That would explain the modifications." General In-soo leaned forward. "Dr. Sunmi, humans are extinct. We have proof. Their homeworld was destroyed in the Voidstorm Wars. We have records from that time." Sunmi nodded. "Yes, Earth was destroyed. But what if some humans escaped before the planet died? What if they have been wandering in space all this time?" The room fell silent. The idea was crazy, but it was also terrifying. If humans had survived, where had they been for 300 years? What did they want? And why were they showing up now? "It does not matter," General In-soo said finally. "Real or fake, human or alien, that ship is a threat. I recommend immediate military action." Counselor Boram raised her hand. "General, If there are really humans on that ship, destroying them would be murder. And if they have been alive all this time, they might have knowledge we need. What kind of knowledge? Asked Admiral Youngsik. Think about it, Bo-Ram replied. If they survived the destruction of their home world, if they have been traveling in space for 3 centuries, they must be very good at staying alive. That kind of survival skill could help all of us. Ambassador Kyung-soo laughed bitterly. You want to risk a galactic war for some old survival tricks? While the politicians argued, Captain Dong-min and his crew were flying toward the Nexus sector. The journey would take 6 hours at maximum speed. As they traveled, reports about the mysterious ship spread through secret military channels. On the Tyrillian homeworld, President Wu Jin called an emergency cabinet meeting. In the hegemony capital, Fleet Marshal Hyun-woo began moving battle groups toward the border. The Altarian Council of Ministers went into closed session and did not come out for 8 hours. Back in the emergency meeting room, the arguments continued. Dr. Sunmi tried to present her research, but the politicians were too busy blaming each other to listen. The design specifications are very detailed, she said, holding up her tablet. Look at the engine configuration. Look at the hull plating, patterns. These match human engineering principles exactly. Anyone could copy old human designs, said Ambassador Kyung-soo. Yes, but look at this, Sunmi replied. She pointed to a section of the sensor data. The ship is showing signs of metal fatigue in exactly the places where human ships would show fatigue. The stress patterns are perfect. No one could fake this level of detail. General In-soo was not convinced. Dr. Sunmi, with respect, you study dead history. This is a matter of living politics. That ship, whatever it is, threatens the stability of 3 empires. But what if we are wrong? Asked Councillor Bo-Ram. What if we destroy the last humans in the galaxy? How will history remember us? Admiral Youngsik stood up slowly. He was tired of the arguing. There is only one way to find out the truth. We let Captain Dong-min investigate the ship. If it is human, we deal with that problem. If it is fake, we find out who put it there and why. And if it is a trap? Asked General In-soo. Then Captain Dong-min and his crew will die heroes, and we will have our answer. The cold words hung in the air like ice. Everyone knew that sending one small patrol ship to investigate was probably a death sentence, but they also knew it was the only choice that might prevent a larger war. On the other side of the galaxy, other meetings were taking place. In the Zephyrian Empire, Intelligence Director Tae-hyun was studying the same sensor data. His analysts had no better answers than anyone else. Sir, said one of his assistants, what if the humans really are back? Tae-hyun was an old spy who had seen every kind of trick and deception. But this was different. If humans survived the Voidstorm Wars, they are either very smart or very lucky. Either way, they could be useful allies or dangerous enemies. Meanwhile, in the Altarian Defense Ministry, Security Chief Sung-ho was having similar thoughts. The Altarians had always been the smallest of the 3 major empires. They survived by being cleverer than their enemies, not stronger. If humans are really back, Sung-ho told his staff, we need to make contact with them first. They might remember that we helped them evacuate refugees during the early days of the Voidstorm Wars. But in the hegemony military headquarters, the mood was different. Marshal Hyun-woo saw the human ship as a threat to be eliminated. Humans were always trouble, he told his generals. They never knew their place in the galaxy. If they are back, we need to remind them who is in charge now. As Captain Dong-min's ship flew through hyperspace toward the Nexus sector, the 3 empires began moving their fleets. No one wanted to start a war, but everyone wanted to be ready for one. Back on the monitoring station, Ji-ho and Hai-wan continued watching the mysterious ship. It had not moved since they first detected it. It just sat in space, waiting. What do you think they are doing? Ji-ho asked. Maybe they are waiting for us to notice them, Hai-wan replied. Maybe they want to be found. Or maybe they are broken and cannot move. Or maybe they are afraid. The 2 scientists stared at their screens and wondered what would happen when Captain Dong-min reached the Nexus sector. In a few hours, they would have answers. But those answers might change everything in the galaxy forever. Captain Dong-min stood on the bridge of the Starfall, watching the main screen as they dropped out of hyperspace. The Nexus sector spread out before them like a dark ocean filled with dangerous currents. In the distance, 3 different fleets watched each other with weapons ready. "Contact on sensors, Captain," reported Lieutenant Jae Sung from the communication station. "Bearing 27 Mark 5. Distance, 50,000 kilometers. Put it on screen. The image that appeared made everyone on the bridge stop breathing. The ship was clearly old, much older than anything else in space. Its hull was patched with metal from a dozen different sources. Strange additions stuck out from its sides like mechanical scars. But despite all the repairs and modifications, its basic shape was unmistakably human. "My God," whispered the navigator. "It really is a human ship." Dongmin walked closer to the screen. He had studied human ship designs in the academy, but only as historical curiosities. Now he was looking at one that was real and alive. "Any signs of weapons?" he asked. "Negative, sir," replied the weapons officer. "I am detecting some kind of energy field around the ship, but it does not appear to be defensive. More like life support?" Dr. Mijin stepped forward. She was the ship's xenopsychologist, an expert on alien minds and behaviors. She had been called to the bridge when they detected the ship. "Captain, if these really are humans, we need to be very careful how we approach them," she said. "They have been alone in space for 300 years. They might be afraid or hostile. Or they might be desperate," added Dr. Wu Jin, the ship's other psychology expert. "Look at their ship. It has been repaired so many times it is more patches than original hull. They have been struggling to survive." Captain Dongmin nodded. "Lieutenant Jae Sung, open a channel on all frequencies. Use the old human greeting protocols from the archives." Jae Sung's fingers moved across his control panel. "Channel open, sir." Dongmin took a deep breath. "Unknown vessel, this is Captain Dongmin of the patrol ship Starfall. Please identify yourselves and state your intentions." For long minutes, there was only silence. Then the speakers crackled to life. "Starfall, this is Commander So Young of the Earth ship Resilience. We have been traveling for a very long time. We request permission to approach your vessel." The voice was female, speaking perfect galactic standard with no accent. But there was something in her tone that made everyone on the bridge feel sad. She sounded tired, like someone who had been carrying a heavy load for too long. Dr. Mijin moved quickly to her analysis station. "Captain, I am recording everything. Initial analysis suggests the speaker is indeed human. Voice patterns match. Archived human recordings. But her language skills are too perfect," Dr. Wu Jin argued. "How does someone who has been isolated for 3 centuries speak our language so well?" "Maybe they have been listening to our broadcasts," Mijin replied. "Humans were always good at learning languages." Captain Dongmin keyed his microphone again. "Commander So Young, this is an unexpected meeting. We were told that all humans died in the Voidstorm Wars." Another pause. Then So Young's voice came back, and this time they could hear emotion in it. "Most of us did die, Captain. But some escaped. We have been wandering ever since, looking for home. Commander, your ship appears to be in distress. Do you require assistance?" "Our life support systems are failing," So Young replied. "We have maybe 2 weeks of air left, 3 if we shut down non-essential systems. We were hoping someone might help us." Dr. Mijin was working frantically at her station, analyzing every word and tone. "Captain, her stress patterns are consistent with someone telling the truth under extreme pressure. Either she is really human and really in trouble, or this is the best acting I have ever heard." Dr. Wu Jin was less convinced. "Her responses are too calculated. She knows exactly what to say to make us want to help her." "Or maybe she is just smart," Mijin shot back. "Humans were always good at diplomacy when they needed to be." Security Chief Hyun Woo stepped forward. He was a big man with suspicious eyes. "Captain, this could be a trap. If we let them get close to us, they could damage or destroy our ship." "But if they really are the last humans, and we let them die, we will be murderers," replied Dr. Mijin. Captain Dongmin felt the weight of the decision on his shoulders. 3 empires were watching this encounter. Whatever he decided could start or prevent a war. "Commander So Young," he said into the microphone. "We are willing to help, but we need some proof that you are who you say you are." "What kind of proof?" came the reply. "Would you be willing to allow a small team to board your ship? Just 3 people unarmed for verification purposes." The silence that followed lasted so long that Dongmin thought they had lost the connection. Finally, So Young's voice returned. "Captain, we have not had contact with outsiders for 300 years. Some of my crew are afraid. But if it means saving our lives, yes. You may send a team." Dr. Mi-jin immediately volunteered. "Captain, I need to see their ship myself. I need to talk to them face to face." "I should go too," said Security Chief Hyun-woo. "If this is a trap, you will need protection." "And I volunteer as well," added Technical Specialist Jin-ah. "If their ship is really that old, someone needs to look at their technology." Captain Dongmin considered his options. Sending his people to an unknown ship was dangerous, but it was the only way to get answers. "Very well. Prepare the shuttle. Dr. Mi-jin, you are in charge of the mission. Hyun-woo, Jin-ah, you go with her. Full environmental suits. No weapons. Standard first contact protocols." As the 3 team members prepared for departure, Captain Dong-min opened a channel to Fleet Command. "Admiral Young-sik, this is Captain Dong-min reporting." "Report, Captain." "Sir, we have made contact with the unknown vessel. They claim to be human survivors. I am sending a team aboard their ship to verify their claims. Captain, that is extremely dangerous. If this is a trap, then we will know for sure, sir. But if they really are human, this could be the most important first contact in galactic history." Admiral Young-sik was quiet for a moment. "Proceed with caution, Captain, and keep this channel open. I want to know what you find immediately." The shuttle bay doors opened, and the small craft carrying Dr. Mi-jin, Security Chief Hyun-woo, and Technical Specialist Jin-ah flew toward the mysterious ship. As they got closer, they could see more details of the ancient vessel. "Look at those repairs," Jin-ah said over the comm. "They have been working on this ship for decades, maybe centuries." "The hull composition is definitely human," Hyun-woo reported. "But I am reading materials from at least 12 different star systems. They have been collecting metal and parts wherever they could find them." Dr. Mi-jin stared at the ship as they approached. "If this is fake, it is the most elaborate fake in galactic history. No one could create this level of authentic detail." The shuttle docked with the human ship at what appeared to be an improvised airlock. As the 3 visitors stepped aboard, they entered a world that was both familiar and strange. The corridors were clearly human in design, but they had been modified and repaired so many times that they looked like mechanical puzzles. And then they met Commander So Young, and everything changed. Commander So Young was not what Dr. Mi-jin had expected. The human woman was tall and thin, with dark hair that was starting to turn gray. Her clothes were patched and worn but clean. Most surprising of all, she looked completely normal. Not alien, not strange, just human. "Welcome aboard the Resilience," So Young said with a tired smile. "I apologize for the condition of our ship. We have been making repairs for a very long time." Security Chief Hyun-woo kept his hand near his equipment belt, even though he carried no weapons. "Commander, we need to verify your identity and the authenticity of this vessel." "Of course," So Young replied. "I understand your caution. Where would you like to start?" Dr. Mi-jin stepped forward. "I would like to speak with your crew. I need to verify that you are really human. And I need to examine your ship's systems," added Technical Specialist Jin-ah. So Young nodded. "Chief Engineer Tai Hyun can show you our technical systems. And you are welcome to speak with anyone on the crew. We have nothing to hide." She led them through corridors that seemed to go on forever. The ship was much larger inside than it appeared from the outside. Every surface showed signs of repair and modification. Pipes and cables ran along the walls in patterns that made no sense to normal engineering. "How many people are on this ship?" asked Dr. Mi-jin. 47, So Young replied. "We started with over 200, but space is dangerous when you have nowhere to go." They passed through a section that looked like it had been built from the wreckage of 3 different ships. Jin-ah stopped to examine a control panel that was clearly made from parts that had never been designed to work together. "This should not function," she said, running her scanner over the controls. "These components are from completely different technologies." Chief Engineer Tae-hyun appeared as if from nowhere. He was a small man with clever eyes and hands that were permanently stained with machine oil, but it does function, he said with pride. When you have been fixing things for 300 years, you learn to make anything work with anything else. Jinna stared at him. 300 years? How old are you? Tae-hyun laughed. I am 35. But my father was an engineer and his father before him. We have been maintaining this ship for 15 generations. 15 generations? Dr. Mi-jin repeated. You have been in space for 15 generations? Time moves differently when you are between the stars, So-young explained. We have been traveling for almost 3 centuries, looking for other humans, looking for a place to belong. Security Chief Hyun-woo was studying the crew members they passed. They all looked human, but there was something different about them. They moved with the careful efficiency of people who had lived their whole lives in cramped spaces. Where did you come from originally? He asked. Earth, So-young replied simply. Or rather from the refugee ships that left Earth before the planet was destroyed. My great-great-great-grandmother was on one of the last ships to escape. They entered what appeared to be the ship's main engineering section. It was a chaos of machinery that somehow worked together. Steam pipes connected to quantum processors. Ancient fusion reactors powered systems that looked like they had been invented yesterday. This is impossible, Jinna whispered. None of this should work. Engineer Tae-hyun grinned. That is what we thought too, for the first 100 years. Then we stopped worrying about what should work and started focusing on what does work. He showed them a power distribution system that used parts from 12 different civilizations. We trade with anyone who will talk to us. Sometimes we find wrecked ships and salvage what we can. Sometimes we land on planets and trade our labor for materials. You have made contact with other civilizations? Dr. Mi-jin asked. Oh yes, So-young replied. We have met many different species. Most are friendly once they get over the shock of meeting humans. A few tried to enslave us or kill us, but we learned to avoid those. Navigator Yoon-ji joined them in the engineering section. She was a young woman with bright eyes and a datapad covered in star charts. I can show you our route through the galaxy, she said, unfolding a map that was covered in lines and marks. We have been to 400 different star systems. We have seen things that would amaze you. The map was incredible. It showed paths through space that no one else had ever traveled, routes around dangerous nebulae and through sectors that were supposed to be empty. How did you survive for so long? Asked Security Chief Hyun-woo. We adapted, Engineer Tae-hyun replied. We learned to fix anything with anything. We learned to grow food in impossible places. We learned to make water from comet ice and air, from algae. We learned to work together, added Navigator Yoon-ji. When you are the only humans in the galaxy, you cannot afford to fight among yourselves. Dr. Mi-jin was recording everything, but she was also just watching. These people moved and talked like humans. They had human emotions and human concerns. If this was an elaborate fake, it was perfect. Commander So-young, she said finally, why are you here? Why did you come to the Nexus sector? So-young's expression became sad. We have been following old star charts from before the war. This was supposed to be the location of a human colony world. We hoped that maybe some other humans had survived here, but instead you found 3 alien empires pointing weapons at each other. Security Chief Hyun-woo observed. Yes, and now they are pointing weapons at us, too. Engineer Tae-hyun led Jinna deeper into the ship's technical sections. What she saw, there changed everything she thought she knew about technology. Look at this, Tae-hyun said, showing her a device that was clearly human in design but modified with alien components. This is our water recycling system. The base is human technology from 300 years ago, but we have added improvements from 17 different civilizations. Jinna scanned the device with her instruments. The efficiency is incredible. This system is producing more clean water than should be possible. Human engineering was always good, Tae-hyun said proudly. But it got better when we had to make it work with everyone else's technology. He showed her the ship's food production area, where plants from a dozen worlds grew in soil made from processed asteroid material. The air recycling system used human designs powered by alien energy sources. The navigation computer was built. From human processors running software written in 15 different programming languages, this ship is like a living museum, Jinnah said in wonder. You have technology here that could solve problems throughout the galaxy. Meanwhile, Dr. Mijin was interviewing crew members. She spoke with people who had been born on the ship and had never seen a planet. She met elders who remembered stories told by the original refugees from Earth. Every conversation convinced her more that these people were genuinely human. We have dreamed of this day for generations, said one elderly crew member. The day when we would meet other people from the civilized galaxy. We just never imagined it would be so complicated. Security Chief Hyun Woo was also becoming convinced. Commander So Young, if your people really have been traveling for 3 centuries, you must have incredible knowledge about uncharted space. We do, she replied. We know safe routes through dangerous sectors. We know where to find rare minerals and how to avoid hostile species. We know things that could help everyone. But first, said Engineer Tae Hyun, we need to survive. Our ship is dying. We have kept it running for 300 years, but we cannot perform miracles forever. The 3 visitors looked at each other. They had come to investigate a possible threat. Instead, they had found something amazing. They had found the last remnants of humanity, struggling to survive against impossible odds. We need to report back to Captain Dong Min, Dr. Mijin said finally. Will you help us? Asked Commander So Young. Will you give us a chance to prove that we are not a threat? Dr. Mijin looked at the desperate hope in the human woman's eyes. I will recommend that we try. The emergency session of the Galactic Council was unlike anything in recorded history. Representatives from 3 major empires sat around a circular table, staring at video recordings from the human ship. The evidence was overwhelming, but no one wanted to believe it. Dr. Sunmi stood at the center of the room holding a datapad filled with historical records. She had spent the last week digging through archives that had been sealed for centuries. The records were altered, she announced, to the shocked assembly. After the Void Storm Wars ended, all 3 empires agreed to hide the truth about human survivors. Ambassador Kyung-soo jumped to his feet. That is impossible! Why would we hide something like that? Sunmi activated the main display screen. Ancient documents appeared, showing secret agreements between the 3 empires. Because human refugees were everywhere, she explained. They were scattered across hundreds of worlds. Some joined alien societies and lost their identity. Others formed small communities and tried to rebuild. All 3 empires decided it was easier to pretend humans were extinct than to deal with the political complications. Admiral Young-sik studied the documents with growing anger. These are classified at the highest levels. How did you access them? When surviving humans appeared in the Nexus sector, all classification protocols were automatically suspended, Sunmi replied. The computer systems recognized this as a first contact situation and released the historical files. General In-soo was reading through the documents on his own tablet. His face was pale. These records show human refugee camps on 17 different worlds. What happened to all those people? Some integrated into local populations, Sunmi answered. Others left to search for other human survivors. And some... She paused, looking sad. Some were killed by local governments who saw them as threats. The room fell silent. The 3 empires had built their peace on a foundation of lies, and now those lies were crumbling. Counselor Boram spoke first. If this is true, then we have a moral obligation to help the survivors. Moral obligation? General In-soo laughed bitterly. We have a political crisis. If humans start gathering together again, they could destabilize the entire galaxy. Captain Dongmin entered the council chamber with his team. Dr. Mijin, Security Chief Hyun-woo, and Technical Specialist Jinnah had spent days writing their report. Now they had to present it to the most powerful people in known space. Captain, said Admiral Young-sik, give us your assessment. Dongmin stepped forward. Sir, the humans are genuine. Their ship is authentic. Their story is true, and they are not a threat to anyone except themselves. Explain, ordered General In-soo. Dr. Mijin activated her presentation. The crew of the Resilience represents the last survivors of multiple human refugee groups. They have been wandering in space for 3 centuries, searching for other humans and a place to call home. Images of the human ship appeared on the screen. The patched hull, the improvised systems, the desperate repairs that had kept 47 people alive for generations. Their technology is fascinating, added Jinnah. They have learned to combine human engineering with alien innovations. Some of their solutions could benefit everyone in the galaxy. Security Chief Hyun-woo presented his security assessment. They pose no military threat. Their ship has no weapons beyond basic defensive systems. Their crew is exhausted and desperate, not hostile. Ambassador Kyung-soo was not convinced. Even if they are not a threat now, what happens when other human groups hear about them? What if they start gathering together? Commander So-young's voice came from the communication system. Captain Dong-min had arranged for her to address the council directly from her ship. Honored representatives, she said, her voice carrying across the chamber. We do not want to cause trouble for anyone. We just want to survive. We want a place where we can live in peace. Commander So-young, said Counselor Bo-ram. What exactly are you asking for? Permission to establish a small settlement on an uninhabited world. A place where human refugees can gather if they choose to. We do not want territory or political power. We just want to exist. General In-soo leaned forward. And if we refuse? So-young was quiet for a moment. Then we will continue wandering until our ship finally breaks down and we die in space. But at least we will have tried. Engineer Tae-hyun's voice joined the conversation. If I may speak, honored representatives, we have knowledge that could help solve many galactic problems. Our ship designs are incredibly efficient. Our recycling systems could help worlds with environmental damage. Our navigation data could open new trade routes. You are offering to share your technology? Asked Counselor Bo-ram. We are offering to be part of galactic civilization, So-young replied. We want to contribute, not just survive. The council members looked at each other uncertainly. This was not the threat they had expected. These humans were not conquerors or warriors. They were refugees who had somehow survived against impossible odds. Dr. Sun-mi stepped forward again. There is something else you should know. According to the historical records, there may be other human groups still out there. The Resilience is not necessarily the last human ship. How many others? Asked Admiral Young-sik. Unknown. The records are incomplete. But if we help the Resilience establish a settlement, it could serve as a beacon for other survivors. General, In-soo shook his head, you are talking about potentially thousands of humans gathering in one place. That could upset the balance of power. Or it could strengthen it, argued Captain Dong-min. Sir, I have seen what these people can do. They have survived things that would destroy any of our fleets. Their knowledge and experience could make all of us stronger. Commander So-young spoke again. We have a proposal. Let us prove our value. Give us a chance to show that humans can be useful partners, not threats. What kind of proof? Asked Counselor Bo-ram. Engineer Tae-hyun answered. There is a derelict space station in the Korath system. It has been abandoned for 50 years because no one can figure out how to repair the quantum matrix failures. We can fix it. Technical specialist Jinnah looked up in surprise. The Korath station. That project has defeated the best engineers from all three empires. Human engineering is different, Tae-hyun explained. We do not worry about elegant solutions. We focus on solutions that work. Give us access to the station and some basics, materials. If we can fix it, will you consider our request for a settlement? The council members discussed the proposal in whispered conversations. The Korath station was a strategic location that could benefit all three empires. If the humans could really repair it, they would prove their value beyond question. Finally, Admiral Young-sik spoke for the group. Commander So-young, we accept your proposal. You will be escorted to the Korath system and given the opportunity to repair the station. If you succeed, we will discuss the establishment of a human settlement. And if we fail, So-young asked, then you will be given safe passage to continue your journey wherever you choose to go. It was not everything the humans had hoped for, but it was a chance. Engineer Tae-hyun immediately began making plans. Navigator Yoon-ji started plotting courses to the Korath system. Commander So-young prepared her crew for the most important mission in 300 years of wandering. As the council session ended, Captain Dong-min found himself thinking about the future. If the humans succeeded at Korath, everything would change. Three empires that had spent decades in careful balance would have to learn to work with a fourth group. It would be complicated and difficult. But as he watched the human ship prepare for its journey to Korath, Dongmin felt something he had not expected. He felt hope. These people had survived the impossible. They had turned wandering in space from a death sentence into a way of life. They had proven that sometimes the best solutions came not from elegant engineering, but from stubborn refusal to give up. Commander So Young sent one final message before the Resilience departed for the Korath system. It was broadcast on old, human emergency frequencies that had been silent for 3 centuries. This is the Earthship Resilience calling any human vessels in range. We have made contact with galactic civilization. We are no longer alone, if you can hear this. If you are out there, we are working to build a place where we can all come home. Hold on. Help is coming. Across the galaxy, on hidden ships and forgotten colonies, other human survivors heard the message and began to hope.